Hey, Slaanesh Devotee here with my third round of the Black Crusade, Winter 2017, Black Crusade Octagon League. I'm looking at what I think is quite a nice combination. The Promise of Glory, Warpsmith and the Helldrake are all quite nice. I've got promotion to go with the Soul Grinder, which could be quite cool, and then a couple of other cards. My second round game, unfortunately, my recording software completely failed, so there's no second round video. But I did do quite an extensive write-up. I've put that, I put it on Card Game DB, but because I don't know if the forum's going to stay up there, I'm going to copy it over so that the entire second round game report will be in the description or the comments beneath this video. So hopefully, if you're interested, you'll read that and it'll be fun for you. I'm quite impressed to see Baharroth doing so well. I'm quite curious to see, what I'm going to be facing here. And Winstorama decides to keep whatever it is that he's got. So there we go. I've got the initiative, and we're both keeping. Alright, so my obvious first move is Promise of Glory. This is a voiceover report. While I was playing this game, I was also running around and making some food for my 2-year-olds and stuff. But it went alright. So, just generate a bunch of cultists ready to go. I barely even looked at these planets before I made my decision. But if we look down there, we've got green victory by planet 3, red victory by planet 4, and then another green by planet 5. So at this point I'm beginning to pay attention to it, and I'm thinking it looks quite quick. There's a lot of options to win here, and I'm thinking I might see some really my big guys might benefit me in this, because I might be able to sort of bully my way into an early early win condition, So my next step's going to be Master Warpsmith regardless, and so I go with Ossus because I figure if I go to Farron, theoretically, the Baharroth could have won by planet 3, and my Warpsmith wouldn't be able to fight at all. It's quite a chunky fighter, 2/4's decent enough. And I put it onto Ossus because I want resources. I want to make sure I can afford my Soul Grinder or my Helldrake or vice versa, whichever it's going to be. Yeah, I want to be able to pay for my big guys. This is when I realised Taurus is the planet 1, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have 3 units, so usually that means I'll get to trigger Taurus. I'm quite keen to do so, obviously. And he pulls out a Warlock Destructor, decent move, and throws it down to Taurus, which I'm completely fine with. I'm totally fine with that. So double the effect of those cultist tokens. I get a 2-cost Soul Grinder, chuck it down on first planet as well, because I'm thinking basically the automatic result here is that your Warlock dies, and then I get to win the planet. So your resources you've put there are pretty much unimportant. I could have gone with the Helldrake instead. Oh no, I couldn't quite have, could I? Not with doing the Warpsmith. But I figure I'll save up for the Helldrake. I'll get the Helldrake in later on some other way. But I'm quite happy with the Warpsmith and a Soul Grinder in there to start with, I would have needed another Promise of Glory or an SDC construct or something along those lines to get the Helldrake in as well. But I think that's a perfectly solid first couple of planets, first couple of big guys in there. I feel like as long as you've got a Promise of Glory or Warpsmith, is effectively one of these things is free, which I think is worthwhile. And I'm bullying on that first planet, which is good. I'm hoping that he puts in, what do I need? I'll need 3 more units to be able to trigger Taurus. So I'm hoping he's getting the command units out, sort of. But as he's pausing and slowing down, I'm thinking he's probably noticed that, and he's probably not going to quite do that for me. There we go, Baharroth's Hawks. So we're at an equal amount, and if I kill him, I've actually got more units. So I can see how that's pretty solid decision for him in that regard. Equals the command there, so he's equaling my command. That's a good solid idea, I would say, on his behalf. Uses most of his resources, so he's probably thinking actually in this case they're worthwhile. And I just quite simply decide to use my promotion there and guarantee myself a few resources. I mean, obviously if his Warlord goes there I don't get the resources, but at that point the Warlock Destructor is dead. I'm thinking he's expecting me to go to Planet 1 to trigger the Soul Grinder. I'm pretty sure that's where he'd expect me to go. But I'm not actually sure that I want to. I'm pretty happy that if he goes there with something else at this point at least, my Soul Grinder can still cause a lot of problems and kick a lot of ass. So I'm beginning to think about the other planets and getting some extra resources from Theron perhaps, or digging for my economy cards with Baharroth. And then I want to check out what that tricolour planet is, because it looks familiar. But in the meantime, he triggers the Craftwheel Gate and he saves his Warlock Destructor, which seems like a solid move to me, solid idea. Okay, so he takes his Warlock Destructor back, and I've got nothing else I really want to do. I could have fired off a Demonic Incursion, I guess, but I just I didn't feel like I wanted to use it at this stage. I'm not desperate to get a demon out. I'm pretty happy there. And see, I've realised that it's Yvonne. Put a unit into play. And I'm thinking, oh, well that's spot on. I'll put my Helldrake into play. So I'm picking that, and I'm very happy with that decision. He thinks through where he's going to go. I am not sure where I'm expecting him to go at this point. Possibly to Planet 2 to overwhelm my Warpsmith, in which case he'll probably come to Planet 3, I think. There we go, he's chosen where he's going. I've noticed finally and hit done. He's done. Okay, where are we going? Here we go. I'm going to Planet 3 and he is going to Planet 1. So he wants to stop my Soul Grinder, but that means that my Warpsmith does win the command there, so I'm happy about that. I get my resources, and I get a little something from Yvonne. Here we go. Cool. So no cards, but a bunch of resources, which is quite nice. And now we need to see if he wants to stay and fight a Soul Grinder. So I'll just type that in there. Just check with him. I'm assuming he wants to get out of there. Yeah, there we go. It's one of the fun things about Baharroth is you get to cancel command and then skip town and not have to deal with the consequences. It's quite a nice little routine. And he doesn't want to move the Hawks, that's fine. Right, so Taurus I can't trigger, which is really frustrating. I have no actions, I don't think he will. Yep, first planet is yours. So I'm happy that I've got a green planet when there's so many green planets already in the array. So I'm thinking that gives me options. And there is a red planet combination that can win by what will soon be Planet 3. So that seems alright. We get to Ossus. He has no action, that's fine. I have no action, that's fine. I was thinking that my Warpsmith has quite a lot of health. At this point that's what I had in my head. So he takes the big hit from the Hawks. And I was thinking, yeah, that's fine, I'll shield it. There we go, so only 2 damage. And then I can run off and be useful as a warp cultist engine and accelerator or whatever. And it was about this point, just after throwing the shield away, that I remembered Baharroth is going to be able to swing at me and then I will die because I have no other shields. So that was a complete waste of my Demonic Incursion. And instantly I was thinking, oh no, I am throwing money away with this Warpsmith, I'm throwing cards away with my shield, it's going to die when it doesn't really need to. And I'm straight away thinking, your mind's not in this. You're too distracted by the kids yelling about spaghetti. And it's just, I was thinking this game's going to go downhill. This is going to be it. He's going to win the next few green planets, and I'm just going to be done. That's how I was thinking. It takes a bit of time, but he thinks about it, and he decides to let the Hawks die, which I'm pretty pleased with. I'm pretty happy with that. But then he goes with a gift of Vha'shaelhur, and I feel like this is kind of a bit of an overkill. I think he was hoping to make sure my Warpsmith is out so that I absolutely can't use the Cultist engine. He didn't want to swing with Baharroth and risk me having one shield and being able to retreat, and then you know, that unit would obviously become incredibly difficult for him after that. So he's done with Ossus. Done. With what happens in a second, I think he might have another thought in mind here. I'll say that when it comes up. So he steals a resource, which frustrates me, but that's okay. It takes him a moment to remember, I think. Get one resource. But effectively he has no units left, so he's got no command out on the array as it is, so that's good. Now I'm on Taurus. He can't afford a gift of Vha'shaelhur now. I don't think he's got any units in his discard pile anyway, so I can't think of anything he can ambush in, and I'm feeling like, good, I get to trigger Yvonne, I get my Heldrake, this is going to be good. I'm done. Does he have anything he can do? No, he doesn't have anything. And so, awesome, I am ready to trigger. About to say it. About to type it in. Oh, he puts in before you trigger. So I was just about to type it in clearly. Yep, there I am. I was about to, but he's got something to do. So I've completed the planet, I'm about to trigger it, and then he, reaction to that I believe, is foretell, and he exhausts Baharroth. I have a feeling that possibly he played the gift of Vha'shaelhur. Interrupt, yeah. I think he might have played the gift of Vha'shaelhur to ensure Baharroth was ready so that he could use foretell. But because when Baharroth swung, everything would have been exhausted, he would have had to ready before he won the battle, and he would have been ready anyway. So I'm not sure if he should or shouldn't have used that gift of Vha'shaelhur. So I get a Corrupted Teleportarium and a Fallback. Those are both quite useful cards. And basically we're starting from scratch each, only I've got a Soul Grinder to come with my Warlord, which is quite useful. That guarantees a sacrifice if I commit to a planet where there is a enemy unit, which is really cool. I'm one off being able to afford my Heldrake because of Ossus, which is quite frustrating. It would have been nice to be able to buy that. And at the moment I'm actually thinking I will go to Yvonne. I'm not worried about Ossus as a claim, because if I can set my Soul Grinder up on Yvonne, if I can win Yvonne when it comes over to Planet 1 on my initiative, then I'll have 2 red and 2 green. And that sets me up for any of the next 2 planets after that to win, and that gives me a bit of flexibility. So I put the Demonettes out as a bit of a command capper on Ferrin. I'm hoping to get some resources, and I'm also thinking that that begins to set me up on what could theoretically be my 3rd red planet. So it would be a good planet to win on, you know? And he's got a Wild Rider squadron, which is pretty darn impressive. It's quite big enough to cause some problems to me because I haven't got enough things out to deal with it. It moves around quite nicely. It's generally quite a solid unit there. Teleportarium, pretty standard sort of thing. I've only got 2 blue planets at the moment, which isn't great, but at least it's something. And that's all he's pulling out. He's out of resources already, so that's good. Now, I still want to go to Yvonne. I don't want to leave my Soul Grinder at a planet where it's potentially not going to be as useful. I don't want to be fighting at a red planet that's only going to be my second red planet and nothing else, you know? Especially when I don't know if there's any more after that. So I really want to be set up at Yvonne. So that's where I go. He turns us down. And he's made his decision. So I'm done. He's done. Let's reveal. So I'm going to planet 2, and he's going to planet 3 to guarantee that command over my demonet. I'm okay with that, that's fine. Gives him 2 to my 1, although Yvonne, of course, is a very, very limited command planet. But I'm quite keen to be able to trigger it if I can. Start doing at least some sort of a leapfroggy sort of routine. Leaving an elite on one planet while I carry another one to the next planet I need it at, you know? Alright, so let's check for his mobile. What does he want to do with that? I never really played with Baharroth in the elite meta. I've played with him in the swarm meta quite a lot and not done particularly well. So I'm not sure if he wants to mobile here or not, or if he wants to possibly move over and trigger Baharroth. I'm not sure what would be best for him, what he needs to try and set up. He decides that he will, and he's going to jump over to fight me. And I thought, that's a bit ridiculous. My Soul Grinders are going to make easy pickings of you. And that was as much thought as I'd given it at this stage. So Ossus, he's got nothing, I've got nothing. Theoretically, I could have thrown my Soul Grinder over there just to win it anyway. And then I would have been fighting at a win condition on this planet with Baharroth. And looking at it, maybe that would have been worth giving a go. You know, maybe that would have been worth trying for. If I could get the Black Legion Helldrake and pull it up with me at that point. If I wouldn't, well, I probably wouldn't win Yvonne if I moved the Soul Grinder. So I'd have to be committing to Baharroth as my win condition unless I drew something really, really useful at the beginning of the next round. So I feel like that was still the right call to make. I really want to win this and have 2 win conditions from now on, red and green. I think that's a good call for me. He's got nothing, and I've got nothing. And he swings at the Soul Grinder. I think that's fair. He wants to get rid of the big nasty. He wants to make sure it's gone. I get that, that's fine. And especially when Vha'shaelhur only hits for 1, it's not a big deal. So I swing back at Baharroth, and I'm thinking, cool, my Soul Grinder already, and Vha'shaelhur already, and we'll scare off this Warlord. He's a bit of a fool getting involved in this fight. You know, who's the great idiot getting involved in a land war in Asia? What is that line? Whatever it is. And then he moves over the Wild Rider Squadron, which is a ridiculously obvious move that I completely didn't even think of until right at that second. And now I'm going, oh, you're going to hurt me. You know, this is going to be painful. Boom, there we go. Now I'm thinking I've got a fallback, so I thought maybe I could stay and fall back the Soul Grinder anyway, and it would be healed, so it wouldn't really matter. But because he's got the initiative, I don't even get to swing with the Soul Grinder first or anything, and actually, isn't that a bit of a waste? If I'd have had that demonic incursion instead of throwing it away on the Warpsmith, I would have had 1 more point of damage on this Soul Grinder, which would have been nice. Not perfect, but it would have been nice. And so I'm thinking, oh, actually I can't win this, which is not helpful, not good at all. So I should leave. And then I thought, actually, I'm a bit worried with Baharroth, with Craftworld, with all the mobile things, he might have Doom. And actually, I should probably try and avoid that. So what I thought was, I've got a Teleportarian there. It's nearly the end of the turn. There's no other battles to be fought. So if I run off to Elwith, I can always jump back from Elwith and be ready and be able to jump in when it's my hit, rather than potentially be hit first. So I think that's my best call here. So I run away with Vha'shaelhur. I leave the Soul Grinder. And somewhere along the lines here. And also, you know, if you go to HQ, if you fall back and end up in HQ, if you retreat to HQ, you have to come back exhausted, and I just want to avoid that. And the Teleportarium allows me to stay amongst the planets, stay in the array, and yeah, so I think that's a good call there. And I jump off to the side. There we go. Hopefully I'll get a couple of cards and jump back to fight at Yavin. We're both done, nothing else happening at Yavin, and then he triggers it. No, he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. Why would he do that? It's a daft thing for a Baharroth player to do against Vha'shaelhur, I'm sure. I mean, of course I've got a Heldrake. I mean, most of the other things I've got would be potentially worthwhile, but a Heldrake makes it absolutely worthwhile. I might have had a Bloodthirsty, you never know. And there we go. Just waiting to end the turn now. There we go. Done. And done. Alright, so 4 income for the next turn means I'm going to be able to afford my Heldrake, and I'm just curious to see if I get anything else that can be helpful. Plopping a Heldrake down on that first planet will be very useful, but obviously he's got his resources and things as well. Marcus Slanesh, I'm quite happy to see that. I can't really use the Warpsmith right now, but I'm trying to think, is there my usual fallback Marcus Slanesh shenanigans that can be used here? And actually, there probably was. So I go with the Heldrake, that's great. He's, of course, not surprised at all. And I see now, this planet will give me a second red, Ferrin would give me a third, but if I don't get Ferrin or I don't get Yavin, Karnath is a red, but of course it's the last planet. Whoever wins the last planet anyway wins, but you know, I can see a victory condition there. Blue is a pointless planet array at this point, but if I can get Yavin and Baharroth, I win there, so that's good as well. And there we go, the Guardians on top of my Soul Grinder. Now, I decided, as soon as he did that, I decided I wanted to get some use out of the Soul Grinder, and I move, there we go, I use the Teleportarium to move him there so I can kill the Kinsman. I realise it's stranded there, but it's setting me up, I'm assuming I can win Yavin, and then I'll be able to be set up at Baharroth. But what I possibly should have done is left him there, left him on Elwith, put the Mark of Slanesh onto him, and then I could move him into a battle when I need it, and I could let the Heldrake stay in the heaviness of the battle. If the Heldrake dies, I do a fallback. I use the Teleportarium to bring over the Soul Grinder, and then because it would be the one carrying the Mark of Slanesh, I could then suck the Black Legion Heldrake back into the battle as soon as they killed the fragile Soul Grinder. And I think that would have been a slightly more flexible use, but instead I'm about to put the Mark of Slanesh onto the Heldrake, knowing that that will pull the Soul Grinder off the green planet if I need it to be pulled off. I must say I'm not the most forward-thinking player, because him dropping a 1-cost 1 hammer opposite the Soul Grinder there like that, I was like, oh, you completely negated that Teleportarium move, and now I must put the Mark of Heldrake, the Mark of Slanesh there to get the Soul Grinder into the mix, or it's going to be pointless, you know. But Black Legion Heldrake with the Mark of Slanesh, I thought that was a pretty hefty thing to throw onto the first planet. He knows he's got to deal with the Soul Grinder flying across. But yeah, I think Mark of Slanesh on the Soul Grinder and teleporting him to where he needs to be. Would have been a better combination use of my potential fallback here. So I'm thinking of going Planet 1 to guarantee initiative would be good. Planet 3 to guarantee a sacrifice from, well, not guaranteed, to increase the chances of a sacrifice due to the Soul Grinder would be good. Planet 4 simply to stop his command would be good. And Planet 5 would be fine, but not particularly interesting. And then he throws out the Banner of the Ashen Sky. That's quite good to get that bonus attack when he moves. And he's got Baharroth moving, he's got his Wild Riders moving. That's a really nice little addition there. I tend to think of my big demons as more tough than they really are. I should be a little bit more wary of things like the Banner of the Ashen Sky, making relatively small units quite potentially potent, destructive things. And I tend to be like, no, Soul Grinder, you can't kill a Soul Grinder, but I've currently got 1 on 1 hit point left there, and I really need to think of it as being a very fragile thing. And he comes out with the Wraith Guard. Now that began to make me feel a bit worried. Armor Bane, big hit Armor Bane, is something that actually is going to cause quite a bit of a trouble for my elites and things. It equals my command there, and suddenly the command is just not looking that thrilling. And I really need resources to play my big things, and I'm not getting many. And so I decide, Planet 2, I've got initiative, I definitely will have initiative, and I'm thinking I can swing with the Demonettes onto the Wraith Guard first, and that'll be a pretty solid hit, and they should die. That's basically what I'm thinking there. And then hopefully that'll mean I get the resources there, and I'm hoping Baharroth doesn't go there. I've chosen, and it says he's chosen, but he hasn't confirmed that with the done button. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I go to 2, and he goes to 3. So I get my things. Oh, and I'm thinking he probably went to Ballas to guarantee that I didn't kill something with the Soul Grinder, you know, which is fine. That's fine. The Heldrake wins command, that's good. I get Farron, that's good. He gets his, we'll get 4 cards, which is quite impressive. And I'm happy with that. So that's all fine, that's all wonderful. And I check if he needs mobile, and he says no, he doesn't want to do any mobile for this turn. So he's going to face down my Soul Grinder, which, to be fair, I was like, what? But it's got 1 hit point, and it can't really run away. So, of course he's not too concerned there. So I think Yvonne, cool, I'm thinking I can trigger this. This will be fine. I'm assuming I'm going to be able to. There we go, done. And does he have an action? And of course he leaves, and somehow this Wild Rider Squadron surprises me every time. I'm always thinking, oh, it's leaving. Well, why would he leave it to be killed by a Heldrake? Especially when it's getting a 2 attack boost opposite my Warlord. That's a really obvious play for him to make, and you know, I'm glad he made. I sort of forced him to make it by putting the Heldrake there, but I don't know quite what I was thinking. You know, and here's where I'm thinking, oh, now the Mark of Slanesh is going down into my HQ. I do trigger it because I figure a 4-cost unit is decent enough, especially if I pull out a Promise of Glory. But I'm really kicking myself thinking, you know, I don't like my Mark of Slanesh being trapped in HQ. It would have paid off to have the Soul Grinder on a blue planet with the Mark of Slanesh. That just would have been really useful. If he had gone to Elwith and threatened my Soul Grinder, I would have been free to teleportarium him to a different planet once the battle had started and get himself out of trouble. And that would have been a very, very good idea, I think. He puts down another Wraith Guard, I'm fine with. but he points out that he actually would prefer not to do something else. 4 units put out. That's fine. I haven't done anything. It doesn't change anything except the fact that I know he has an Eandon Wraithguard, you know? No, 1 card you have left. Yeah. So, he takes that one back, and instead he drops out Shrouded Harlequin. Nice hunter card, that one. When somebody pointed out that that's a, you know, when that dies, you can exhaust a warlord at any planet. Oh, wow, that is such a great hunter card. You know, it's incredible. Especially if you have a way to kill it yourself, you know. Very good, very cool. Alright, and then we go on to Farron. He's got no actions. And I'm going to kill off the Wraithguard. I still need them to be dead. I'm hoping I can kill them. If he's got a 2-shield unit, he's got 8 cards. A 2-shield card, sorry. He's got 8 cards in his hand. So him having a 2-shield card is actually quite likely. And in fact he has a 3-shield card, which is just kind of shocking, you know. I'm like, oh no. I'm done. Nothing else I can do, obviously. He's done. And I'm going to... Oh, it's his swing, actually, isn't it? Yeah. And he goes for the Warlord, which is reasonable. I can understand that. You want to... Especially when you've got such a big armor bane hitter, you want to take down the Warlord. I get it. It's fair enough. And I run away. I realise, actually, I've put myself in a bit of a vulnerable position. I have managed to pick up my 2 material, 2 strongholds. I'm very pleased with that. That's really good. I'm thrilled about that. But, yeah, Planet 2 is going to go poorly. Here we are. All done. And he's won Farron, I realise, so he can get rid of the Soul Grinder if he wants. But he decides he doesn't want to do it that way. He's hoping to kill it. And it's, yeah, I'm thinking I really should have left it on Elwith and been able to move it to somewhere safe, because I could like jump it to Farron now if I needed to. You know, that would have been leaving the teleportarium. But I thought I was going to be able to get a nice little sacrifice out of the shift, and I thought I was being very cunning. And actually I should have played a little bit safer, kept him somewhere safer, I think. And then I think, okay, I will keep my Soul Grinder, let it go, and bring it back with the fallback. That's cool. I'll just bring all these up to Farron on the next turn, and they'll take a big hit. But then I think I should be able to set something up there. Should be good. He triggers Baharroth without realising that actually I've run out of cards at this point. So there we go. No cards left. All done for battles. And end of turn. I'm hoping to get a Promise of Glory and a Possessed or something like that in the next draw. And I get an Ominous Wind. I am thrilled. Alright, so first things first, Ominous Wind with my Helldrake, and boom, I'll be able to do all sorts of things. I'll draw out all of my good economy cards, I'll get a few of my different events that'll help me control what I need to be happening, a couple of bigger units to throw down. I'm stoked. This is going to be great. And he plays Doom. Bugger. Do you remember I said that I was a bit worried about Doom, and that's why I kept the Soul Grinder up amongst the planets? Yeah, and I completely didn't think about it at all. Because if I'd have thought, actually, I'm a bit worried about Doom, I would have held on to that fall back. I would have had to say, crap, it's hard, but I'm going to let the Soul Grinder die, because I have a Helldrake in HQ, and if he plays Doom, I want my Helldrake to stick around, because I need the Helldrakes. They're like too much of a linchpin for this deck, really. And then if I'd have done that, I would have been able to fall back the Doom, and then I would have been able to play Ominous Wind anyway, which would have been phenomenal. I would have been at 3 or 4 resources, and I would have had 6 or 7 cards, so we would have been at a much stronger parity. I still would have had a Helldrake with me, and I could have gone to Planet 1 with the Helldrake, and hopefully drawn a couple of cards that would be useful. He points out that actually the Shrouded Harlequin only works on a planet, which means Vha'shaelhur isn't exhausted, but the part of that hurt was that I'd already been worried that he was going to be doing Doom. I'd already been concerned about it and thinking I needed to play carefully around it. I threw out the STC because I might as well put out the STC at this point. It's my only limited card anyway, and that sets me up if I do get some more demons. So I can't get Farron. So I lose that. I can't win on red planets. So I've got to win on Baharroth. I don't really want to go and fight on Baharroth because those 2 kinsmen are going to fight really, really well. I did think about it for a second, but my area effect is only 1, and they're going to actually have 2 hit points on the green planet. So I'm thinking I go after the Baeltan Guardians and hopefully generate a cultist. It's the like barest minimum that I might be able to do. And I'm not upset by those draws. I've drawn the Soul Grinder, which is a nice decent thing I can use to try and fight my way back on Baharroth. And I drew Predatory Instinct, which is huge for shields and is huge for the area effect. And I'm trying to think as I look at it, I'm thinking, do I want next turn to spend the instinct on my Warlord, who's pretty beaten up unfortunately, but do I want him to be able to do area effect 2 to draw some fire away from the Soul Grinder potentially? Area effect 2 would wipe out most of the things that I'm fighting against right now. Baharroth decides to step over and fight me. He's in a much better position to fight me, and I immediately am like, I'm probably going to have to just die, unfortunately. I was thinking he'd commit to Baharroth. I was really worried I was going to have to discard like my Ominous Wind and things. That really, really worried me. Or potentially my Soul Grinder. But then he mobiled off it, and then he brings his Wild Riders all the way across. Adds the Banner of the Ashen Sky, and suddenly I can't even try and get the Guardians, because I'm going to get smacked really hard. And it just... yeah, see, oof. So he's going to win Farron in a second. And suddenly I can't even try and hit the Guardians and take the hit from Baharroth. You know, it's hard. I've lost everything. But to be fair, that's his first planet. He's got 1 red, and he can't win with red. In fact, he can't win with green, and he can't win with blue. He actually, all he can do is win on that last planet. He has to set up the last planet and just stop me winning on Baharroth. He has to stop me winning on Baharroth, and then we both have to win on Karnath. If he can stop me next turn. Elwith is completely irrelevant to the win conditions at this point. And he hits me big. Now, this would have bloodied me. And I've got to say, I think Area Effect 1 isn't good enough. So Area Effect 1 by itself, if I don't shield and add the Predatory Instinct next turn, I don't think it's good enough to cause enough problem. So I decide I don't want to be bloodied, basically. I want to avoid being bloodied, because I know next turn I can go to fight at Baharroth, and if he bloodies me, that doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't, I'm okay with it. But he's, yeah, so he's guaranteeing me definitely no cultist there. If I fight at Baharroth next turn and I get bloodied, but I win Baharroth, I still win the game. So that's fine. But if I was bloodied here, then that becomes an untenable idea. I need to try and last until Karnath, because the more bloodied, the more beaten I am, the more likely an Yandin Wraithguard is going to step in and just be like, no, out, down you go, you're dead. And I don't want to lose that way if I can avoid it. So he finds himself another card, which is quite good for him, I guess. Sneaky guy. Ready to end. Yep. Done. Right, so I'm hoping to get my Soul Grinder in this turn. And I might play the Ominous Wind. And then I draw another Helldrake. And I'm like, STC, Helldrake, I can afford the Ominous Wind. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. Gotta get the Helldrake in. So there we go. First step, first thing I do, straight away, boom. And then if you don't knock me off, if I win on Baharroth right now, I win the game. So that's quite good, quite a threat for him to now have to follow up. And then that was when I looked at his count and saw 6 resources, 13 cards, and I was thinking, Mighty Wraith Knight, that'll do a decent job there. I don't know, I haven't seen any allies out of him yet, so maybe he's got like an Archon's Terror. What else could he have? Can't have a Clivax. But I was just like, he's got so many options. Shrieking Exarch, maybe? He's probably got a Gift of Vha'shaelhur or 2 still to go, I think. And I'm not sure what's at the top of his discard pile, but Yand and Wraithguard would be bad. Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm not sure a Helldrake is enough right there. And he pulls out a Warlock Destructor and throws that to Planet 1, and I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of little swings and one big Helldrake that's just going to get worn down. It'll kill something, and then I don't think it'll kill enough, you know? But I go with the Ominous Wind. So, let's see, what things do I want to keep? I want another Ominous Wind, in case I can cast another Ominous Wind. Mark of Slaanesh is useful. Archon's Terror is useful. Gut and Pillage I can't use, but then I think, actually, if I have it as a shield, I think I'm going to need every shield I can on this first planet. Got a Splintered Path Acolyte, he's good for economy. And actually I was thinking, I've got 1 resource left, I can put 1 more body onto that first planet. I would quite like a Possessed, I would quite like the Fortress of Madness as just an extra little chipping away at the costs of my deck. But I think the Cultist's better economy. I think I need as many shields as I can. I definitely won't be able to use the Keeper or the Demonettes really. Possessed is really nice, I'm sorry to get rid of that, but those are the ones I decide to get rid of. There we go. Alright, so I've got a few more options now. And I was considering, do I go to Karnath so that I can fire off that Ominous Wind again? You know, in the command phase, you know, go to Karnath, get another resource, boom, fire off the Ominous Wind. Or do I go to Karnath so I've got 2 resources and boom, I can fire off the Archon's Terror, which would be quite good. But then I don't have any area effect, and I have to rely on the Helldrake being able to take it itself. If I put the Splintered Path Acolyte there, that's literally 1 pinprick against something. If I do go there with Vha'shaelhur, I can do an area effect, everyone gets pinged once, and then the Cultist could try and finish something off, but he's got 12 cards, he's going to have 1 shields in there, and maybe it's not worth it. And now I'm beginning to feel like I don't have enough resources to set anything else up. I think I'm going to lose Baharroth. I don't think I've got enough to keep it, which is really hard for me, because I'm like, no, I really wanted that, and that means I'm going to have to set up for Karnath, and I'm like, maybe I should have just put the Helldrake on Karnath, you know, just been like, bugger it, you keep all the other planets, and just put all of my big monsters on there, and just keep building it up and going, we'll go through a few turns, you come and take me on, you know. But I wanted Baharroth if I could do it. And I decided to go for Planet 1, didn't I? Yeah, I set my skull to Planet 1. He's going to Planet 1 as well. So, that's a lot of things for me to have to kill. I'm not feeling great about this situation right now. And yeah, see, I just remembered, oh, did I want to use the cultist there? But I don't think I really did. I think I made the right decision in that regard. Hold on to it, use it as economy later on if I can. And then I went to claim economy and realised that actually all of his little units equaled my big unit, and so actually he just gets the cards from Elwith. We're even on planet 1 and he gets planet 2, and I think he read that as even on planet 1 you get planet 2, which confused him because he says something like, what? Yeah, question mark. And then he realises, I think, that he gets a card. Yeah, there we go. And I'm like, oh, I really would have liked one more resource. If I could have Archons to Terror away the, I don't know, the Warlock, and then the Heldrake could have hit potentially Baharroth, and then the next turn I would have kept initiative, so I could have, oh no, I wouldn't have if I'd have gone to Carnath. He would have had initiative, so I would have taken a hit from the Yandin and pings from the, yeah, possibly, I don't know. Archon would have got rid of that. He probably would have gifted in, you know, the Yandin Wraithguard or something, because he's got plenty of resources there. Yeah, wouldn't have been good. Wouldn't have been enough. But then I could have triggered Elwith and maybe got another card. I don't know. I can't tell if I made the right call going to planet 1 here. But first thing I'm going to do, the Heldrake's going to survive a couple of hits, so I'm going to lay in a Samaria effect. I was thinking, this is a battle at planet 1, so the Kinsmen are going to die now, next turn. If he focuses on the Heldrake and leaves my Warlord alone, I might even be able to get a second swing in, but I would doubt it at this stage. I'm basically accepting that my Warlord's going to have to die. Well, get bloodied. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be really, really, really close for the next couple of turns then. Not fun moving a bloodied Warlord around, especially on such a small gaming board. So there's not really much chance I'm going to trigger the Gut and Pillage, although maybe I should have gone to planet Carnath and hopefully triggered a Gut and Pillage. Get the resources. So I use it as shields here. And then I take the opportunity, well, I might as well, I'm likely to be bloodied, so I'm going to bloody you. You know, if I can, I better do it. That gives me another win condition potentially before Carnath if I can get a hit on Baharroth. And actually I did start to think I'll have initiative on Carnath, so if I can get another Possessed and throw it on Carnath and swing it Baharroth on the last turn, or if I go there at the same time as I'm setting up, that would be good too. And he goes for the Warlord, and I'm like, I want to make him use up as much of his swings and as many units as possible, so I shield one more. And that might have been a bad call too, because I could have set up, I could have retreated my Heldrake, and then I could have done my Cultist on a planet, put the Mark of Slanesh on it, sacrifice it for a Soul Grinder, pull the Heldrake to that planet. That could have been a useful thing to do too. But that would have meant using Archon's Terror or Ominous Wind as a shield. I didn't want to do that. Possibly I should have just let the Wild Rider Squadron. Possibly I should have just let Vha'shaelhur get bloodied the first time. That would have been an extra point of damage on the Heldrake, who's got 2 at the moment, so he would have been on 3, and he's about to take another 3. So he'd have been on 6 damage, which possibly would have been worth it, because I could have used the Mark of Slanesh to pull it back into play, which could have been a bit of a threat, although it would have been effectively on what, 2.5, 3 hit points. I'm retreating it anyway. yeah, potentially letting Vha'shaelhur back off, get bloodied sooner might have been worthwhile in that case. And he triggers Baharroth, and I lose my other ominous wind. Oh, that hurt. I was retreating the Black Legion Helldrake, you know, as part of my thought process was, it's alright, it's okay, I'm going to get a bunch more cards, and that will help. That really, really hurt. It really hurt. So, alright, there you go, he gets planet 1. So that means I didn't get my third red, I didn't get my third green. We absolutely are definitely fighting over Karnath. So this next turn is kind of irrelevant, it's just positioning, and we're getting ready for that final battle. I'm bloodied, but so is he. He triggers Craftwheel Gate to pull out the Warlock Destructor, so he doesn't have to pay extra for it and have it be an HQ and all that nonsense, which is a nice use of the Craftwheel Gate. And I point out that the kinsmen are both dead, so, you know, we're both well worn down, you know, we've both suffered. So he'll be on 1 material, 1 strong point. If he gets Hellworth, he'll be on 1 of each going into the last battle. And there we go. Alright, turn 6. I get another village, not great. I get a Teleportarium, 2 planets left. They're both blue, but not great. So I'm thinking, alright, well, I basically just want to set up elites on Karnath, and that's all I can do at this point, I think. Set up the elites on Karnath. Out comes the Webway Passage, which I would have thought would have been much more useful much earlier, but I mean it's a cute enough little card. It'll let him probably do some swapping backwards and forwards from HQ, which is good. The Acolyte comes out because, I mean, why not? I throw it to the first planet because I'm thinking maybe I'll end up leaving it there. Maybe I'll just try and win the first planet with an Acolyte. Maybe. I don't know. Is it worth bothering? I mean, maybe getting the command potentially as well. Let's see what happens. And what happens is he puts out a Baletown Guardian. And he throws it down to Karnath. And I'm thinking he's going to use that to swap over the Webway and pull something else up. So I use the STC, and I use the Cultist, and I put a Soul Grinder onto the last planet, because that's where I want it to be. There you go. Possibly being able to pull the Helldrake up to there with the Marcus Lanesh would have meant that I'd have 5 command icons on a planet with a Soul Grinder. That would have probably been useful. So yeah, I probably should have tried to keep that Marcus Lanesh with the combo with the Cultist, being able to trigger it when I want it, you know? So I've listed a few things that I should have done differently, between teleportaring, the Soul Grinder, and, you know, a few different things. But overall, I feel like it's quite close. You know, we're both limited units on the field, we're both bloodied, it's coming right down to the last planet. Yeah, it's good. And I realised that he was pausing here, because if he swaps his Baletown Guardian for something, they will have less command. So he's got to guarantee that he adds more command, or otherwise he's in a lot of trouble. Having the Helldrake there possibly would have been really threatening for it, because something would have had to die, you know? Too many cards to choose from. He's got 15 cards, and I'm like, you know, gloating. 15 options, 15 cards, when I've got 3, and actually 2 of them are almost entirely useless at this stage. One of them's useful, and I've got enough points to use it, or resources to use it, and I quite like it because if I terror something away, it can't be gifted issued back in, so that's quite a handy thing with it. I'm thinking I need to save it till the last planet, the last battle, but when he does that I'm like, oh, I might need to use it on that to make sure you don't bloody kill my bloodied warlord now. I might need it to survive this next turn. Well, I suppose I could have gone to planet 1 and then used the teleportarium to put the Heldrake over to planet 2, ready for that battle. I don't think that would have been heads or tails, really. So he's managed to put the Wraith Guard on there, and he's doing a Kinsman. Looking at just how many cards he's got. Yeah, okay, so he throws them back out over onto Karnath. Really building up on Karnath. I've passed at this point, and so he's happy to swap things around. Yep, pretty straightforward. So we've got the 2 Wraith Guard up there now, and I'm like, that's really dangerous for me. That's really, really dangerous. If I go to planet 2, I can Archon's Terror away 1, but he has initiative. He is going to hit me with the other one. That's gonna hurt. I don't know what to do about that. I really don't. However, seeing as we're both done, I very, very quickly set my planet choice, and I've got to go to planet 2. I need to set up the Heldrake there. Maybe I could have gone to planet 1 and teleported it over. I don't know. Don't think it makes a huge difference. Maybe I should have. At least then I would have got a card to trigger out of it. Yeah, maybe I should have. He retains initiative anyway. Well, I would have had to take first action, and I would have had to teleport the Heldrake over, and then he could have come over with the Wild Rider Squadron, and I can't beat the Wild Rider Squadron. He would have had the reaction to it, he would have had the second action, so I don't know, probably not worthwhile. He goes to mobile out of trouble, remembers that he's bloodied. Yeah. Alright, so I'm just saying, you know, it's all good. Checking if he has any sort of actions for planet 1. I've got nothing. Oh, he's undone as I was typing, so he's got nothing, and we just need to arrange to destroy it. I'm just checking if he's happy for me to do it, you know. I'd like to destroy it. We'll be at that stage. And he went to look for the option, because it's his initiative, so, you know, I get that. But because I started the game, because I'm the host of the game, technically the planet cards belong to me, according to OCTGN, so I discard it. There we go. Get rid of it. So we've had 2 cards go by the wayside here. What was it? Ossus and Elwith, both lost without purpose, which is quite interesting, I think. Okay, no actions. What happens here? Who's he going to swing at? Who's he going to punch? Who's he going to hit with those massive distort cannons the Wraith Guard carry? The Wraith Guard guns open up a hole to the warp. That's what they shoot. A hole into the warp space. That's why the Wraith Guard carry them and not actual living Eldar, because the Wraith Guard are protected by being all in Spirit Stones. That's the idea there. So he decides to run before I get a chance to reply and hurt Baharroth. And so technically I should probably run as well. But I'm thinking, now it's my swing. If I can kill a Wraith Guard and then Archon's Terror a Wraith Guard, I might actually be able to do more damage than he has expected. I think he's expecting to be able to do more to my Warlord. So that's what I do. I'm going to finish off the damaged Wraith Guard, because it makes it harder for him to shield it. And then he's got an action somewhere. There we go. And so I will Archon's Terror the other one. There we go. Awesome. So 2 of the bigger hitters are out of action. Alright, so maybe I'll have a chance to get the Wild Riders. I've got 2 smaller units that I can hopefully chip away at. I'm thinking, okay, I might be able to win this round. Maybe I can fire off this Gut and Pillage and get a couple of good units on. Okay, so we're all done. And I swing, so it's his swing. I'm pretty sure it's his swing. And he's got another gift of Vha'shaelhur. Of course he does. Of course. And I just killed a Wraith Guard. Yeah, so he brings back a Wraith Guard. I'm like, cool. Great. That's just the best, you know? I'm like, Alright. And so I've got a bloodied Warlord sitting here. Is that, yep, and that's what he's going for. 4 out of 6. Oh, that's nasty. And I run away. I'm thinking now, could I have pushed it and gone one more swing, tried to kill the Guardian? I think I thought about it and then went, he's got 13 cards, he's going to have a windshield card. It isn't going to achieve anything except taking another point of damage myself. Now, I use the Gut and Pillage because I'm like, I think making sure the Helldrake survives is more important. He's on 4 damage already, that would have been 5. He's going to have to take another 2 after that. He would have been on 7, and then he probably would have died. Yeah. Thinking through all the damage that's going to be coming out my way. You know, if I could have won the battle, then I'd be able to trigger the Gut and Pillage and get the extra resources. I feel like I needed the shield to guarantee I'd get through all this. So, I've got nothing I can do except swing. All I can do is swing. He can't afford any more gift of Vha'shaelhurs, I don't think. So that's good. But unfortunately I'm going to have to swing at Ephemeral gift of Vha'shaelhur Wraith Guard, because they're the biggest threat, really. And here they come, speak of the devil. But he goes for the Soul Grinder. You know, making sure that he gets all his armor vein damage out instead of having it halved by the flying, I think is probably his mindset there. So that means he's able to kill the Soul Grinder, and so I want to swing with the Soul Grinder, but I changed my mind here just very quickly, and I think actually the only thing that can kill the Soul Grinder is the Wild Rider Squadron, but he's probably going to have shields that he can use to keep it alive, because the Grinder's hitting for 4 and it's got 4 hit points. So I changed mine, and actually I'll use the Helldrake to guarantee it's dead, and then the Soul Grinder should still be able to get one more swing out. So at this point, if I had saved my Gut and Pillage, the Helldrake would have still been on 5 hit points. I mean, that might have changed what he attacked, but I would have been on 5. And then if he'd hit me with the Wraith Guard, it would have been 7. I would have hit the Wild Rider Squadron, but then he would have been able to ping the Helldrake with the Baltan Guardians. It would have been dead anyway. The Soul Grinder wouldn't be dead though, it would have nothing on it. I would have been able to hit the Kinsman. Next turn he would have hit me for 4 with the Wraith Guard, and I could have hit it. So maybe I could have maybe I could have won this battle, won this planet, without using the Gut and Pillage. But I think it would have been very, very close. I would have had a very, very sore Helldrake or a very, very sore Soul Grinder on the planet. And that would have been a risky proposition. I'm thinking, I'm already aware that the last planet battle is going to be my initiative. And so if I have an 8 swing on my initiative sitting on the planet ready to go when Baharroth turns up, that that could be it. That could be the game there, which would be really, really solid. So I've got to stay. I've got to keep these guys up here. I've got to do as much as I can in this in these last few rounds. So he's staying. Of course he's staying. He's got a Gift of Vha'shaelhur thing there. He's going to leave it there as long as he can, isn't he? You know, why would you retreat with a Gift of Vha'shaelhur thing, and especially in conditions like this? So he stays. He finishes off the Soul Grinder. That's pretty much to be expected from the way he's been running it. Whoops. He's been aiming at the Soul Grinder. There we go. And so I'm thinking, if I kill the Guardians, next turn he has initiative with Armor Bane, 2 damage on the Heldrake. So if I kill the Wraith Guard, next turn, well, I'll get a ping from the Guardians, and then next turn he has initiative, and I'll get another ping from the Guardians. Still 2 damage. And so I'm like, doesn't really matter which one I kill. I go for either of them, really. He's done, I'm done, and I decide to kill the Guardians, you know. Looking back, actually, I probably should have killed the Wraith Guard as a longer term sort of strategy. Getting rid of more Wraith Guard is more effective next turn, making sure it's definitely gone. But I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be gone anyway, so yeah, no effect. No real effect here. He stays, and so do I. And so he's going to swing for 2. Oh, yeah, he's just checking for me, checking for action, that's cool. He swings for 2. There we go. I take the 2. Cool. And I'm going to swing back, and then I'll win. And he Craft World's Gates out, and that is a really nice little move, isn't it? You Gift of Vha'shaelhur something back, and then you Craft World Gate it back into your hand. It's kind of like going backwards. Instead of deploying it out and it dying, you're bringing it back and taking it back. It's quite nice. But I win the battle. No trigger, obviously. Can't do anything with it. But I have a ready Heldrake on Planet 7 when he has to commit there, and I have the initiative. So I'm really stoked right now. This is great. This is fantastic. So I'm really pleased about that. I'm really hoping that that's going to do the job there. I can't think of what else is going to go on here. But I've drawn absolutely nothing. Another Teleportarium, which does nothing at this point in the game. Another STC, which is pointless because I can't play it. And an Archon's Terror, which is, granted, very, very good. But you know, I can't actually do anything. There's nothing I can do. So he says he needs a minute to think, which is fair enough. He's got 16 cards to work out his options from. So yeah, fair enough. You take all the time you need to think, man. Because I'm done. As you see, wait, did you pass? Yeah, I've got absolutely nothing I can do. So whatever you do, we'll see how I go with it, you know. He's got a rules question, which implies to me, oh, what sort of a plan does he have in mind? You know, like, I mean, you've got to ask the rules question, but it kind of gives away what you're thinking, you know. So what is it? Rules question. Yeah, can you same hand jet bike to the same planet? I don't think you can, but gosh, that's really useful just to do an extra ping from the jet bike potentially. Just give you that one extra damage. But yeah, as I say, I don't think so. We could check Card Game DB, but yeah, no, I don't believe so. Please do let me know if it would have, because obviously that could have potentially made quite a bit of a difference. But I don't think you can do that. We didn't really go and have a look, but we just kind of assumed that it didn't. So the first thing he's throwing into the mix is putting out a Warlock Destructor. That's solid enough to kill the Heldrake pretty much by itself there. So at the moment, it's my Archon's Terror target, you know. And then he's got another one, and I'm going, oh no, there's not a lot I can actually do against that. It's going to kill me. I can Archon's Terror one of them. I can kill the other one. I at least have initiative, but I'm probably going to have to run away with my Warlord on the first swing. Having the Wraith Guard, which, look, he's swapping up. They're going to kill me instantly. I'm really not impressed there. I'm like, oh no, what What am I going to do? What am I going to do here? No, I've been hanging on so long. Pretty good start. That doom just was brutal, and I'm like, it's come right down to this wire, and I think I'm done. I think that's it. I think I've got nothing. Throws on an earth cast. Goes looking for shields, I imagine. Searching. He's got a... Ooh, it is a Wraithguard, because it's a drone. So he can't afford it right now, so that's alright. But he's got another drone. And then he says, mess that up a little bit, okay. I'm not sure what he means there. I think the flipping the card a bit funny, but that's all good. Lots of choices, yeah. So he's still on 14 cards. You know, that's phenomenal. Alright. So I'll just check with him. Are we all set? He's done. So, well, it's no surprise at all. Planet 1. And, yep, there we go. Here he comes. Planet 1. Here we all are. Look at that lineup. I have got two very, very wounded Chaos people. He's got a bunch of little guys that are actually decent attack. I don't get any command. He gets the command, which is, yeah, bit of a pain. Oh no, neither of us get the command. Why am I targeting it? Oh, for the battle. Neither of us get the command, sorry. And he uses Seer's Exodus. Seer's Exodus. I mean, whoever in the world expected to see Seer's Exodus played on the last planet with an initiative-ready Helldrake on your bloodied Warlord? Boom! I mean, I'm just thrilled that I got to see that, you know? Like, that is some clutch play there. Seer's Exodus right then, nothing better. Nothing more perfect. Isn't that incredible? Oh, just, oh, amazing. Alright, so that means there's no actions anymore. He's out of resources. I better swing with the Helldrake. I'll kill the Wraithguard, because why not? He's down to 0 resources, so I know he can't gift the Vha'shaelhur, which is good. I will get rid of the ready Warlock Destructor, because he can't ready the other one, and hopefully with my initiative I'll be able to kill it with the Helldrake. I'm going to swing at the Earthcast Technician, but he's probably going to be able to shield it. If I take a ping from the Earthcast Technician, I will still be able to run away with my Warlord. Yeah, here we go. I take a ping, I can still run away with him. I am thinking I try and kill the Earthcast Technician, I'm not sure. But next turn I can kill the Wraithguard, I can take 1 damage for the Earthcast, which should be enough. Yeah, he jumped the gun a little bit there and readied, but I do have a swing first. And is he going to shield it, or is he going to let it die? Sorry, yeah, no, that's fine. That's not a big deal. So I'm thinking, actually, I might just have enough. Yeah, he shields it. Yeah. So that's fine. Now we're both ready. I get out because 1 point of damage and I lose the game. And then I can kill the Warlock this turn, take 1, kill the Earthcast next turn, and I win Karnath, unless he's got some other little trick that he can pull, but I don't think he does. And he says you get this because of a misplay. And I just, you know, I want to make sure of what's happening here. If he'd have left the Earthcast Technician, then he would have been up by 1 resource. and he thinks he could have been able to play the gift. However, if he hadn't played that, I would have won the command. That would give me one more card. Might have been a shield. He would have also just not play one of the warlocks, so that he would have had 2 resources rather than the 1. Because gift is 2, right? Not just 1. And that means 1 warlock down, 1 Earthguard. That's what he's got left right now. But he would have been able to bring back in the end and Wraithguard probably at a point when it would have killed my warlord. So yeah, that probably would have done it. But massive game, incredibly stressful. It took about an hour and a half to play. I'm not sure how long the video is going to end up. I've been chopping out pauses and thinking times and stuff, but huge stuff. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get round 2 video recorded, but I have that game report under this video. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you're taking part in the Black Crusade League, and I look forward to showing you the rest of my progress in the league. Thanks a lot. Catch you later.